You know, actually, that's not a terrible idea. I think I'm gonna make a video on that.
If there's one thing you take away from this guide to cover, it's that airsoft gunfights are all about angles. I'm not going to make you learn the exact angles, but the less exposed to the enemy and the more you can see the enemy, the better you'll perform. So that's well and good, but how do I know what to do? There's a million spots I could be shot from on the airsoft field, and how will I ever know where to take cover from? It's impossible, Waves! First off, chill. Second off, how you take cover should be determined by where the enemy team is, at least where you think the enemy team is. As you play, you'll begin to get a sense of where the enemy team is located from the sounds of them shooting and getting peeks of them moving around the field. Your goal is to choose a piece of cover that puts something in between you and them. Keep this mental map in your brain as you're playing because it will begin to inform your decision-making process. When you're using that piece of cover, your next goal is to back up as far as you can without getting hit and peek the cover. What the hell, Waves? You just told me to take cover, now you're telling me to back off? It's okay. There is a reason for this. When you're playing Airsoft, you're essentially a targeting computer, processing loads of visual data and picking out enemies from the environment. The smaller the job the computer has to do, the easier and faster it can do that job. When you're further back from your piece of cover, you're taking in less information as you pie the edge, and you can pick out enemies faster. Unfortunately, you won't always have a lot of room to maneuver around your cover due to where the enemies might be located on the field. Enemies located in front and to the side of your cover can dramatically shrink the locations you're safe from their shots. In these instances, it's even more important to vary where you're peeking your cover from. If you peek from the same position multiple times, the enemy will have an easy time picking you off from behind cover. Enemies will also have an easier time if you remain on one piece of cover for an extended amount of time, and for that reason, I highly recommend switching cover regularly. But what good is this if your stance is wrong? When you're using cover to block fire, don't turn your back to the cover. It might look good on camera, but how are you supposed to see the enemy if you're facing away from them? Next, when pieing the corner, make sure you pay attention to where your feet are. Your foot can usually be shot just as easily as your hand can. It's for this reason that I like to assume this position whenever I'm slowly pieing a corner. Speaking of speed, when you're pieing the corner, you have two options, either taking it slowly or fast, and what you do is usually going to depend on your need. If you're pretty sure the enemy is on the other side of the cover you're pieing, it can be better to take him by surprise by moving rapidly. If you're fighting enemies in the distance, however, it can sometimes be better to slowly pie a corner to try and find them so that you can rapidly duck back in if you start taking fire. Finally, if you are pinned, I'll give you one last sort of, let's just call it a bonus tip that might save you in a gunfight. Most people are looking to move forward or horizontally if the enemy is shooting at your cover. Sometimes moving in these directions can work, but what I also find is sometimes going straight backwards to a different piece of cover can also get you out of a precarious situation as well. Plus, this way you usually have some sort of cover to, well, cover you when you're trying to get to a better position.
Alright everyone, that's going to wrap up today's video on cover and how to use it. Of course, add to your own tactics, and there's never enough learning when it comes to playing Airsoft and corner peeking and the usage of cover. Have a great day, don't be a cheater, and that's all folks.